Okay, let's dive in. We've got a really interesting source here today. It's a review for a film called Nightbitch.
Right?
And our mission basically is to unpack this review, use it like a map, to figure out what this film is actually about.
What themes it's hitting, maybe what it's saying about, well, modern life.
Exactly, the whole messy experience of being a woman today, but specifically through the lens of what this reviewer saw.
Okay, yeah. And the reviewer seems to jump right into the deep end, connecting it to other big films.
They do, yeah. Straight away, they mention Greta Gerwig's Barbie and Coralie Fargett's The Substance.
Which is interesting company to keep.
Definitely. The reviewer sees them all exploring the similar territory, what it means to be a woman in the 21st century. That's the quote.
So right off the bat, the reviewer is framing Nightbitch as part of a bigger current conversation in movies, not just some quirky one-off.
Totally. And they get pretty specific about the complexities involved. Things like, let me see, crushing social expectations, the pressures of looking a certain way, the mental health black hole, even the financial decision to opt in or out of motherhood.
Wow, okay. So heavy themes.
Yeah. The reviewer really emphasizes that being a woman is complicated, conflicting, and confusing, and makes this point that cinema is finally catching up.
That word finally, it suggests the reviewer feels this kind of exploration is maybe overdue.
That's the sense I get, too. So let's look at the film's actual setup, according to the review. It's based on a novel, right?
Yeah, Rachel Yoder's novel, a bestseller apparently. Same name, Nightbitch.
And the main character, played by Amy Adams, she's just called Mother.
Just mother. Interesting.
The review calls her an exhausted former artist. Her life is completely consumed by her toddler, who's described as energetic.
Sounds familiar for new parents. And the family dynamic.
Well, the husband, played by Scoot McNairy, he's only there on weekends. The reviewer calls him the fun but absent parent, works away during the week. This leads to, and I'm quoting, not a strong sense of equilibrium in their relationship.
That imbalance sounds like it's the starting point for everything. The fuse, maybe.
Seems like it. The review says resentment, anger, and tiredness build within Mother.
And all that pressure.
Yeah.
That's what leads to the really strange part.
Exactly. The core surreal idea, she imagines that she is slowly transforming into a dog.
Into a dog.
Running with a pack every night to de-stress and give in to her primal urges. That's quite the coping mechanism.
It really is. And the reviewer actually praises the script, Marielle Heller's adaptation.
Yeah, specifically for its honesty, capturing the honest answers that Adams' character wants to give about being a stay-at-home mom.
Instead of the polite answers, maybe.
I think that's the implication. The review mentions these monologues where she talks about feeling awful, devoid of adult interaction that doesn't revolve around various baby clubs.
That feeling of isolation, yeah. Losing your old self.
And how she's had to completely adapt her life. Very relatable, I think, even without the dog part.
And then compared to that, you have the husband character. How's he described?
Oh, the review is blunt. Fantastically useless.
Ouch.
Gives examples like he can't find sippy cups and bath towels, or he doesn't get it when she says, I'm fine. Doesn't understand what's really going on.
The classic, I'm fine.
Exactly. But interestingly, the reviewer adds a clarification. They say it's not a film that bashing men.
Okay. So what's the point then?
It's more about highlighting the inequities that tend to sprout in new parenthood. And they point to something significant. She's called Mother, but he stays husband.
Ah, so her identity shifts entirely to mother,
Yeah.
while his remains kind of separate, anchored to his role outside the home, maybe?
That seems to be what the reviewer is getting at, yeah.
Yeah.
That naming difference is deliberate, reinforcing that shift.
Okay, so this internal pressure, this mental state taking over, the review says it becomes physical.
It does. It mentions her sprouting a pus-filled tail,
Whoa.
developing 6 additional nipples,
Yeah.
and digging in the garden to hide her kills.
Kills. Okay, so it goes there. This sounds like it veers into body horror territory.
Definitely. The review mentions mild, gross-out body horror moments, and it gets weirder with the local dogs.
Ah, so.
They apparently revere her, start leaving dead animals on her doorstep, possums, rats, rabbits-like offerings, paying homage, the reviewer says.
Wow. Okay, so the animal kingdom recognizes your transformation.
Yeah,
in a way.
tight. Seems like it. The reviewer uses the term porphyrianthropy, that's the belief in transforming into an animal, to describe her, leaning into it all. There's also mention of one particularly shocking act of violence.
Is it actually happening? Or is it all in her head?
That's the key thing the reviewer highlights, the ambiguity. Quote, "We are never quite certain if these nighttime adventures are real or purely imagined."
And that ambiguity, the reviewer connects it directly to mental health, right?
Yep, puts it very bluntly. Mental health is a bitch.
Okay.
It's framed as motherhood having unleashed an entirely different side to our protagonist, one that she's not even sure if she should embrace. The physical stuff becomes a metaphor, maybe?
A visceral metaphor for that huge internal struggle. Makes sense.
So what about Amy Adams? She's carrying all this.
The review is glowing. Simply fantastic in the lead role.
Okay.
So she seems to be having fun with the more animalistic parts, which apparently adds some levity to the message.
Levity sounds important with themes this heavy. Does the review give examples?
Yeah, it mentions a funny scene where she and her son eat like hungry dogs in a deli,
Oh, wow.
causing shock and horror among the other middle-class parents.
That sounds like it captures that clash perfectly, her inner state versus, polite society.
Exactly. And the review also praises her delivery of these impassioned speeches
About
how pregnancy changes women physically, how it changes the marriage dynamic, how society sees them differently.
So moments where the film spells out its themes more directly.
Seems like it. And her emotional honesty about just spending all day with a toddler, the reviewer says it feels entirely believable.
That grounding sounds crucial. What about her old life, the art world?
Her isolation from that world comes up too. It apparently leads to a dog-barking outburst at a fancy restaurant.
Goodness.
The reviewer found that both sad and compelling to watch.
It paints a picture of a really complex performance shifting between, the bizarre and the very human.
Absolutely. And the soundtrack plays a role too, apparently.
How so?
The review says it adds to the dreamlike nature of her dalliances with the neighborhood pack. Mentions artists like Aurora and Joanna Newsom, these sort of light, airy voices.
That fits with the ambiguity, blurring lines between real and imagined.
Definitely. Music's great for that.
What about the effects? The transformation stuff?
The review says they're well done, specifically the additional hair and nipples.
Okay, specific.
But they also say the first transformation feels a bit ropey.
Okay. Not perfect then.
But they suggest you can overlook it for the sheer joy of watching a real dog take over and glide through the empty streets, tongue flapping in the wind, exhilarated.
So maybe that's a literal shot of a dog representing her feeling, or just how she feels.
Could be both, right? Given the ambiguity the reviewer keeps mentioning, it works visually and psychologically.
Okay, so pulling back, what's the overall take from the reviewer? How will audiences react?
The prediction is that Nightbitch is going to divide audiences.
That doesn't surprise me, based on everything we've discussed.
No, it sounds pretty out there. The review calls it not a film that can ever be accused of being subtle. Describes the approach as a slightly schlocky horror comedy.
Schlocky.
Yeah, and says you really have to lean into it and go along for the ride. Suggests it requires a certain buy-in from the viewer.
You're either on board with the weirdness or you're not, basically.
Pretty much. But the reviewer seems quite confident about the core message. Quote, "One thing is certain, the message is not lost, thanks to a strong script and central performance from Amy Adams."
So even if the style is divisive, the substance comes through because of the writing in Adams.
That seems to be the main takeaway, yeah. The themes resonate regardless of how you feel about, pus-filled tales.
Right. And the review loops back at the end to that initial comparison with Barbie and the substance.
Saying it might leave you thinking.
How women to get such a raw deal. That's the quote again. And the final word from the reviewer, just, it's barking.
Appropriate. It also mentions, just for context, that it screened at the London Film Festival and got a UK release back on December 6th.
Good to know. Grounds the review in time.
So to recap our deep dive based purely on this review, Nightbitch sounds like a film using a really wild, surreal premise. A mother transforming into a dog to explore some intense realities of modern womanhood and motherhood.
Yeah, tackling exhaustion, loss of identity, societal pressures, relationship inequities, all wrapped up in this sort of body horror dark comedy package.
With Amy Adams giving a central performance the reviewer calls fantastic, navigating both the strange and the deeply relatable.
And the review is clear. It's bold, maybe not subtle, Likely divisive.
but effective in getting its message across about these pressures.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so here's something to think about, drawing only from what this review suggests. The reviewer positions Nightbitch as a film that, despite maybe being schlocky or not subtle, uses its strangeness, this whole dog transformation thing, to force a conversation about difficult topics. It makes us look at why motherhood might feel like such a raw deal for some, according to the reviewer. So consider this. What role can bizarre or even uncomfortable stories play in making us question the everyday pressures or inequities that we might otherwise overlook? How do strange narratives sometimes get us closer to a difficult truth?